Poignée, Willkommen, Bienvenue, Bienvenidos. And for those that speak Texan, howdy, y'all. We're really glad to have you here at Michigan State University. My name is DeAndra Beck, and I'm a platypus. I'm a platypus because I'm an associate dean for research, not in a college, but in international studies and programs. And I wanted to tell you today a little bit about international studies and programs and some of the services and support that we provide you as incoming faculty at Michigan State. Before I get started, can you all give me a show of hands? How many of you have international collaborators for your research? Pretty big showing. How many of you have international graduate students or postdocs? How many of you have led or hope to lead an education abroad, study abroad, or research abroad course? That landscape view is really exciting to me because it shows that you all have the kind of perspective that we are fostering at Michigan State University as an institution that is globally engaged and really looks for partnerships around the world. So I'm going to share a little bit of background with you about our unit and some of the support that we can provide to you. So at Michigan State University, international studies and programs is kind of centralized. And I know that some of you are coming from campuses that the international office is very focused on education abroad or recruitment and admissions, et cetera. But we're a little bit of a one-stop shop. I will say that many of the colleges that you're coming into also have designated individuals or small units that help with international. But we work very closely with that group of folks, and we do what we can to support you while you're here on campus. And there's kind of three buckets, if you will, of ways that we can support you. One is that we have area and thematic centers, and I'll describe those in a few minutes. The other is that we have some education offices, and then we have some special units that are devoted to providing specific services for international engagement, all of which are part and supported through the Office of the Dean, actually the Associate Provost and Dean, Steve Hansen. I think you met Steve at a luncheon earlier this week. So let me talk to you about the ISP thematic and area study centers. Depending on your interests globally, we have units that can help navigate some of the local partners, some of the other faculty on campus who are working in the regions that you're interested in. Asian studies, Muslim studies. We have the African studies and the Center for European, Russian, and Eurasian Studies. We also have the Center for Latin America and Caribbean Studies and the Canadian Studies Center. We have a kind of an interesting unit, the Center for Gender in the Global Context. So for those of you who are working either as a part of your disciplinary focus or if you're interested in international development and capacity building activities, gender is a very important aspect of that kind of work. The services that we can offer you as a faculty member is we have the Office of International Health and Safety. So if you're traveling internationally, and I'll get to a little bit more information about that in a minute, if you're traveling to a conference, if you're doing research, et cetera, this is the office that helps support you and your students if something goes awry while you're overseas. We have an Office of International Research Collaboration, and Dr. Kalista Rakhmatov is out in the hall at the resource fair, and I really strongly encourage you to go visit them if you're considering putting together proposals that are very large, cross-campus, multidisciplinary, and complicated proposals, because that office can offer you pre-award support, and there's no fee to you for using that, for using those services. We have an international development or advancement unit, and for those of you who want to bring cohorts of faculty or professionals to campus for education or training, we have the Visiting International Professionals Program that can help you with logistics, setting up courses, et cetera. You all have to provide the content for that. And the third bucket, if you will, are our international education offices. We have, of course, the Office of Study Abroad, which we've recently renamed to the Office of Education Abroad. We have the Office of International Students and Scholars, and that office is helping both those of you who are international faculty and your staff and students with visas and regulations, and also helping your experience coming to MSU be a little easier as you transition into the U.S. academic environment. The strategy for international engagement at Michigan State University is really built around three pillars, if you will. There's kind of a thematic focus, a regional focus, and then it's how we provide relationships and services. So let me talk about each one of those individually. If you look at the external funding that faculty at Michigan State University get, there's really four big buckets of emphasis. It's not to say that we don't have faculty that get all kinds of different grants, et cetera, but it kind of falls into four big buckets, which are not inconsistent with a land-grant university. Food and agriculture, environment and energy, education and learning, and health and nutrition. For those of you who are data junkies, this is a 10-year window between 2008 and 2017 to kind of show you the categorization, if you will, of this external funding. And you can see that the food and agriculture bucket is pretty large at Michigan State. Education, environment, health, and nutrition. But of course, here we are in the FRIB, the nuclear science and astronomy, plant sciences, life sciences, they're all pretty well represented. We also have thematic foci, if you will, at Michigan State University, and it's kind of an interesting profile to look at where the external funding comes into in terms of faculty's engagement. You can see that in the Americas, we have about 17% of our external funding profile is in the Americas. Africa, quite large. MSU is known for our engagement on the African continent. About 11% of external funding is for collaboration with Europe. We have a pretty large and growing Asian engagement portfolio, and about 1% in Oceania, that's Australia, New Zealand, and the islands. About 24% are global, which means it's one or more regions. But what that says to you as a new faculty member, if you're coming in and you want to engage in Asia, if you want to engage in Africa, you don't have to go this alone. We have a lot of folks on campus who have absolutely had this experience, have worked in these regions for decades, and there's some really exciting research going on. So come to the area study centers, talk to me. We'll help position you to make your research effective so that you can learn from others what they're doing, or maybe even join the collaboration. And then there's kind of an important dynamic about how we engage internationally, and that's an important dimension of Michigan State University's values for international engagement. And those values encompass things like conducting research that ultimately has an impact, using interdisciplinarity to build interesting new research teams and solve very complicated problems. We really value local knowledge and contact. So for example, if you want to go internationally to work with somebody, the ideal situation is that you have a solid local partner with whom you're collaborating and sharing information, and at the end of the day, with whom you are jointly publishing. We have a very strong emphasis on cross-cultural collaboration, and for those of you who've worked internationally know that you can't take, for example, a US experience and translate it internationally without making some cultural adaptations. And we value faculty scholarship and field engagement as well. So, interesting kind of trend, a little bit more data. You can see that over the last 10 years, the number of faculty that we've had about a 7.2 annual growth rate of faculty who are receiving funding for awards that have an international dimension. So it is a growing and an expectedly growing dimension of our faculty research profile. Terry mentioned John Harrison's wonderful sites on the libraries. I want to add another plug for you all who are interested in international engagement. Dr. Rakhmatov and her team put together a curated list of international funding opportunities that comes out as a weekly update. And all you have to do is sign up for the listserv, and we'll send it to you automatically. That curated list means that we make sure that the funding opportunity is appropriate for a higher education institution, that it falls in one of the thematic areas, or we have another basket called Other. And many people are finding quite a bit of value in that in terms of their specific research interests. So I really strongly encourage you to stop by the table, sign up for the funding list. You'll get it in your listserv if you'd like it. The other thing about the Office of International Research Collaboration pardon me, is that, as I mentioned, they help with proposal coordination. So they're a great pre-award resource for you all. Last but not least, we've just recently launched a new platform. It's called the Global Travel Registry that is both available as web registration and both iOS and Android apps. The very important thing for you to know is that if you're traveling internationally, if you register, you will have access to Michigan State University's insurance, your travel insurance and your evacuation insurance when you go overseas. And that's a super important thing to have. Please, please, please register your international travel. If you're going to certain areas of the world, we are looking at an increased level of scrutiny for some places, and we want to make sure that you're safe, secure, and that you can actually get your work done while you're there. Global Travel Registry. Last but not least, this is the International Studies and Programs website. Please give us a visit. I have enjoyed being here at Michigan State University for about 4 years. I come after about 25 years in Washington. I've worked at a number of federal funding agencies particularly to facilitate international engagement. U.S. Agency for International Development, the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Millennium Challenge Corporation, and the last 6 years at the National Science Foundation. So I have a real strong interest in promoting and facilitating international engagement, and I'd be very happy to talk with you and help you be successful while you're here in that dimension. So thanks a lot.